So, start with, I guess start with like a little bit of the your history with Marygrove.
Yeah. Well, from the beginning, being in
Yeah, from the roller skates.
wow. All right. Yeah. I know when I tell people I started here when I was 15, even Michael, he's just like, "What?" He's like, "That's unheard of." I'm like, "It's a good job and you
Yeah.
know, Marigold's always taking care of me, so I'm like I try to do the best I can for them." So, but no, yeah, just being working in the back, being a build manager, just like you were put on an install truck once in a while, and
Yeah.
it helps out though being on, I know Isaac would say it too. I mean, going into a sales call and being like, "Oh no, we're installing into your bond board," and they kind of look at you like you're a salesman. How do you know that? Just
Yeah.
very I try to be, the professional out there. And if I go up there and I see a wood finished board up there, I see where the nail pops are, and I'm like, "Well, there's your studs." And they're like, they're always surprised when I can like pick out things like that.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's nice.
I know not everyone will get the install background like I had, but I hope I can teach people some things from it because it's beneficial being the expert, you
Yeah, I
know.
mean, so Isaac kind of had that same background and then got into sales and like had almost immediate success. You think a huge part of that is company and product knowledge?
Yeah, and well, you're just a lot more confident. Like you
Yeah.
can go in there, and then your confidence comes off to the customer. Like they trust you. Like especially like when I first started in sales, 2009. So 16 years ago, I looked a little bit younger, and I had to get people to believe in me. Like no,
Yeah.
no, what I'm doing. And so being knowledgeable, being the expert, I think is huge. And Danny said it best to me one time. He's like, when people are standoffish, like they're scared of that in-house salesman. And, he goes in and he tells them, "I'm your expert. I'm here to educate you and help you make the best decision you can make for your home." And I
Yeah.
thought really powerful from Danny. And I believe that's a good way to approach it too, because people are thinking you're going to be that window and roof guy. Like,
Oh, without question.
yeah, as soon as you get to the door, there's like, they got their guard up. So
That's
I,
why it's so important in step one to tell them what the next 45 minutes is going to look like because they do think you're going to be a pushy guy that I can't get out of my house for the next 3 hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can, the pushy stuff, there's a time and place for it. Every customer is a little different, but, you get a guy that really wants a certain deal, then I'm that guy that's, well, it's today only. And I don't, me, I don't do things that way.
Yeah.
I educate them and then I get them to believe and I tell them, if it was my home, this is what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So,
time and place for being pushy is Jersey and Philly.
yeah, yeah,
That's um,
yeah, yeah. There's definitely, and when we talk, you'll hear, I know inventory language is going to get brought up. Sometimes I use stock as a language versus inventory, but
yeah.
same concept.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
yeah, but I
Uh,
like getting there. I like, like Ryan said, you said, we park in the street. We're gonna surprise them before we even knock on their door that we're already on the right path.
all
You know,
day, man. Yeah.
even if it's an elderly couple or just a single elderly person, I'll give them my card right off the bat too, so they know it's me. I mean, I'm labeled, but still, like, I let them know like who I am and here's what we're gonna do. And I like to go right around back if they'll allow me. Sometimes they have me go through the house, but of course, take off your shoes. Even if they tell you not to, I do it.
Yeah.
I know you would always say like your wife or your mom would be upset if you didn't. So it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have like a little. Yeah, do you have any like one-liners or scripts that you say in almost every appointment or like if he says this, I'm gonna say that?
Yeah, like sometimes they'll ask me how's your installers, and I'll give them an example. I'll be like, well, the guy you see on TV, Mike Valley, we would before we'd go out and install, he'd give us a little pep talk and be like, install this awning like it's on your mother's house. So I'm like, and that's how every installer is going to treat this job is
Yeah.
installing it on their mom's house, so it's going to be perfect. So
So how much have you seen the sales process like in 20, you said 2009 you started in sales?
Yep, yep.
Okay, so I mean in 2009 was Marygrove doing inventory? Like what is the evolution of the sales process that you've seen?
Yeah, well, we used to be custom to the inch. Like literally, there was, we had a
Oh.
chart that's from, went from 8 feet to 20 feet, and we had a price chart. And it's probably funny, I still have it probably somewhere, but but yeah, back then it was, you had to add a hood, you could get a cassette, there was a lot more options, bare roll frame, I love the stock, I love
Yeah.
having inventory.
So did the four steps like completely coincide with when inventory became a thing? Like did those two things grow up together basically?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you guys and we all sat down and worked on the four steps, it definitely it kind of made it more structured for us. Like you had a plan going into it
Yeah.
versus like just winging it. Like in my mind, I know what step I want to go through when I get there now. So
Yeah.
yeah, in 2009, I mean, it was yeah, prices were different, but also uh,
Yeah.
but
Eight.
longer sales calls though, a lot longer because there's not like a set size. So
Yeah.
we're gonna, and then you get some customers that want it to the inch, and you have to be the expert and say, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but I love our inventory. I use inventory as like it's a positive for us. It's the way we can offer this deal at this price and get you installed quick.
Yeah.
That's the way I really like using our inventory. And we build, right now I tell them we build one model and we do it the right way. And, we have fun parts that, the bundle will get to, but, I'm going to, tell you
I
every,
Man, I used to love that language when I was in the house we don't ask our customers to pick between good, better, and best. We
yeah,
build the best awning we can build.
yeah,
And that's really why we're able to do the inventory system because we're only building one model. This is the 2025 Marygrove. Yes, there's just like you said, yes, there's some accessories that we can add on that we can talk about, but this model is the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And when I listen to you and Ryan talk about too, like the barrel roll awning and,
Yeah.
that awning, but anywhere it's important because I use my competition folder and I'll show people the first 8 inches of that, awning that's above that bay. And I'm
Oh
like, look,
yeah.
that's destroyed. But I got that bird picture too. I show them the bird's nest in there. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I
Yeah,
tell them,
while you're on competition, do
yeah.
you do you assume competition and talk about it before the customer, or do you not talk about it unless the customer has brought it up?
That's well, I let people know how our awning has improved over time, and then
Okay.
when they bring it up, I'll be like, well, the pictures I was showing you is what a sunsetter is. That's how they start. But I don't at first. I never want to come off as bashing another company. I always let people know I'll compare them and I'll let you know why a Marygrove awning is the right choice and why it's better than other products out there.
Yeah.
But
S-
I don't say sunsetter unless they ask me.
Okay, so give me a little because your guy with your Sunsetter dealer is the Golden Needle guy.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
might have
So
retired him, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So
So
give me a little bit of your Sunsetter language. Like if
uh,
you
so like
know that I'm gonna see Sunsetter.
yeah, so just like that one that I was telling you, that was a little victory for me and J Rowe getting that one guy back.
Oh
We got
yeah.
$100 more than what he wanted to spend. And so I'll show them, this is how an awning starts, and then I'll show them the fabric cover, and I'll be like, I'm looking at them like, you really are not going to climb up there and put this around there. It doesn't look good. And then I'll show them the hood, and I'm like, look at that little space right there. That's where birds go in and they nest. This is one of our old awnings. It happens. I'm telling you. And then I'll show them the cassette, and but I first off I let them know, listen, you're gonna get a better warranty. We don't play games with our warranty.
Yep.
You're gonna get adjustable pitch. You're gonna get a cassette housing. And if I already talked about lights, then I'm gonna let them know how our lights are different than Sunsetters too.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
our lights are integrated into our arms. They're not an afterthought. They're not rope tied or zip tied to your arms. You know, they are part of our awning.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we only have to use one of your outlets versus having two cords coming down and using both your outlets. So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a cleaner install. But and then J Row had the Tech and Comfort package on that one, and I'm like, you're going to get the app. You know, you're going to be able to control this with your phone. So I mean, we hit them with like 6 different things on how a Mary Grove awning's worth that extra $800, and we
Yeah.
got it. You know, I was pretty proud of Jay getting that one. So I
Yeah.
was happy we didn't just, let's match it, right away. Like,
I know it's so easy to default to that
yeah,
because you know our process is so much better. And it's like the easy button is, all right, I'm not going to try to like talk to you about the differences of a product you hardly know anything about. So I'm just going to match it because you know Marygrove, right? Especially in Michigan.
yeah.
And yeah, that was, I mean, that was very cool. That was a very cool victory when you
Yeah.
guys did that.
And not to mention, we're a full service awning company. So we do services, if they ever need new fabric, we do that, so I let them know, like, we're here for you. And then not to mention, I'm your contact person now. I'm your guy. If
Yeah.
you have an issue, you can text me. I'll walk you through anything. And I offer that to every customer, and I don't get many phone calls. To
Yeah.
be I mean, they got my cell phone. I get some customers, but not as, I mean, I offer it to every single one I go to. So it's not as bad as you would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do the exact same thing of like, hey, this is my cell phone. And yeah, if you take care of them right at the beginning, you don't get a ton.
Yeah.
I really liked your the afterthought. Like that was something I used to do a lot too, where I would say like we don't want anything about our awning to feel like an afterthought,
Yeah.
including the installation and how it integrates into your home. Like we want that to feel intentional because we want it to be part of your home.
Yeah.
That's really, really strong language.
Yeah. And I mean, not having a cassette on an awning these days, it just doesn't make sense. I mean,
Doesn't make sense.
to
Yeah.
save the X amount, it's like, for what? Your
Yeah.
fabric will be destroyed. It's gonna look bad. The first 8 inches will be faded
Yep.
versus the rest. There's a picture from God. It's an old one, but it's in the photo album that I share. It's a bay mount, and you got 6 feet underneath the soffit, and then you got 3 feet out to the left, 3 feet to the right that's exposed. So I'll show people this is a Mary Grove awning from 2005, but this is the way it's improved. Could you imagine if you had this awning? This part's faded, so I show them like that. I can guarantee you the way it's improved is you get this now. So you know
Yeah.
I'm not beating up the competition. They don't, I am, but they don't know it because I do it in a soft way where I'm educating them, but I'm letting them know how much better we are.
Yeah, for sure.
I say possible.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, let's go back to the 4 steps.
yeah.
And let's talk like I kind of same thing I did with the last one. Like let's go step by step of like what are you making sure you do in step one?
Well, of course, like we said, parking in the street, I like them to, feel comfortable with me. So right away, I want them to know that I'm the expert and that I'm here to solve a problem. And I love being like, oh, this is south facing. I know, like when I park, I know which way the deck's facing. So when I
Yes.
go in there, I don't even have to pull up my phone and look at a compass. I know, like, hey, you got a problem, and I know what your problem is. We can solve it.
Yep.
So I think the introduction where, just being the expert is huge, and being personable, not being aggressive right off the bat, and, being calm. They're always expecting something, like they're expecting the roof, the window guy, and I try to surprise them and not be that at all.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I told the sales rep today, don't sell them, guide them,
yeah.
right? Like they will notice the difference and they'll appreciate it.
Yeah. Like I go in there, I'm like, our rule of thinking, you're north or south facing. We're going to go as wide as possible here. We're always battling that west sun.
Yeah.
Uh, and if they can't go wide, then that's when I'll jump into the side screen. Or if you're east or west, we want that awning out as far as possible. We want to hit that sun head on. So,
Yeah.
right there, they're like, it makes sense to them. Like, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Okay, so let's go into, I mean, step one is probably the easiest of the steps.
but
Do you
yeah,
do do you give them like an idea of what to expect? Like, do you have a script for that? That feels like a part
well,
of the process
Yeah.
that could be
Yeah,
scripted.
when I get there, I'll let them know like, hey, we're gonna go around back, we're gonna measure, and we'll look at a couple things, but the best thing we can do is come back in and we'll go over everything. Because right now it's cold, so it's hard to get them outside.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm like, don't worry, I'll walk around back, my shoes are on, or they'll let me come through and I'll take my shoes off.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's one of those,
Okay, so you're on the deck or patio. They're
yep.
out. Let's assume they're out there with you, even though it's cold. What's your open? How do you get them to start talking? What's your opening?
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes it's obvious where it's gonna go, but then I'll start, and be like, is this, the area you want to cover? And then I'll let them know we have inventory, or I'll say stock. We have certain sizes in stock that I'm going to be able to give you a really good deal on. We build up certain inventory so we can, usually the inventory that we build are the most popular sizes. But if I'm on a wood deck, I let them know most decks are built with 12, 16, or 20-foot boards. So one of my stock awnings is going to work here. Because a lot of deck companies don't build like an 18-foot deck because they're cutting 2 feet off that 20-foot board. They're not really selling 18-foot boards. So usually if you're on a wood deck, I bet you one of our stock sizes will fit perfect.
Yeah.
So then
I
it just
have
works.
never ever like put those things together.
Oh yeah. That's like when they ask me if I do have to do a trim, I'll be like, listen, it's like going to Home Depot. You got to buy the 20-foot board to cut it down to 18 if that's what you need. That's how I tell them. And they get it though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
And then with like you got to be really strong with your background. You got to be really strong with what you already hinted at,
Yeah.
getting them comfortable about the installation.
Yes, yep. And then, just like Ryan said, I let them know like we don't contract out these installers. I used to be one of them, and this is how it's going to go at the time of install. Like they're going to use 3 to 4 brackets depending what size. I don't know if I'd get into that exactly out there, but sometimes like I was telling you, like, oh yeah, no problem. We'll put this in the bond board. Don't worry about your height. You have 9 foot of height. We're
Yeah.
good. I let them know, sometimes they get worried about the angle of the awning. So they kind of get ahead of me a little bit there because they want to know what the end height is. So when
Yeah.
I tape out there, but I'm like, well, you got to keep in mind this adjusts. But then at that point, I want to pull out my iPad and use that tool I told you about that I'm using. I'm like,
Yeah, the 3D animated.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah,
So
that's,
here's a good question for step two.
yeah.
What do you do if during step two they um they say like, well, I want a price on two sizes, or I'm not sure about the size.
I'll kind of just be like, I understand, your thinking, but this is, I'll even say like, no one's ever mad they went larger. It's always, I wish I would have went bigger. It's never, oh man, no one's ever going to say this awning's too big. So I'm like, let's start off with this one, and this is why. And then I'll tell them like, you need a 20-footer here because you're facing south, and we need to battle that west sun. So we're going to start there, and this is the reason why. So then I give them reasons, and usually it's not that I have to make them believe me. It's facts. Like this
Yeah,
is
for sure.
so. I'll
Okay.
tell them what to look best too. Like if I'm on a 20-foot deck and they want to put a 12-footer on there, I'm just like, that's where that visualizer comes in handy for me because I'll show them like how small it would look on there. So
Oh,
I use the visualizer a lot. Like I told you, if I can get a good picture, I'm
yeah.
using it every time.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I I really like the visualizer. I tried to use you. I mean, you guys are spot on with your feedback on the AR. I tried to use the AR on the iPad, and the iPad is too heavy.
yeah,
And man, so I switched. I literally did it today. I switched to my phone and did it on the phone, and it
yeah.
was I mean, smooth as butter, man. It was
Yeah.
so much nicer.
I tried it a couple weeks ago, the AR one, where I wanted to, because they were really into it, and we weren't going inside. Like they were that type of.
Oh yeah.
We're out there, so I'm like, how cool would this be if I can show them underneath their awning already? So
Yeah.
I was trying to get it to work,
It's
but
tough with that iPad.
the awning went way down, and I couldn't get it to come, to bring
Come
it up.
back up. Yeah.
Like, so I didn't want to lose them on that, so I kind of just
Well, honestly, that visualizer, which is the same, built off the same software, I mean, that answers so many of the questions we had, right?
yeah.
Of like what we needed. Um,
I like the visualizer too. Like I was telling you on the phone, I like using all the tools you guys give us. So the visualizer is huge for me because also it makes it easy for me attaching the photo right from my iPad. While I'm in there, I attach it, but it shows the guys where the awning's going too.
yeah, true.
I have to sit there and mark the photo exactly.
And Lori is working on just having an upload button so it automatically goes to the
Yeah,
go
she
to the
agreed with my
order.
email on that one. I was like, oh man, I think she's been asked this way too many times.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Uh, yeah, she's
Felt
doing
bad.
that. And then because remember the old visualizer used to put it in the customer portal too. So
Yeah.
we're having her do that too.
Well, to that point, if for somehow like let's say the 25 or 30% I didn't close, they get a follow-up message from me the next day with that picture. I don't give it
Oh,
off the bat. It's my other way to get their attention one more time.
yeah, I like that. I like that a
So
lot.
I use it as like, hey, thanks again for your time yesterday. Here's the picture, and just let you know I have this in inventory, and I can lock it in with $100 if you're interested. And I get good feedback, or see where they stand. But it's just another way I use to get in touch with them one more time.
Jimmy, one of your superpowers is routine. Like you have this routine about how you operate in Marygrove and Crutchfield is the same way where you guys just have this routine with every customer that like builds consistency, builds a strong customer experience, and gets you like that customer interaction and close that like there's no other rep in the company that has so many people come up during home shows and like Jimmy. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's because you're a really nice guy, but I also think it has a ton to do with like just this routine, the streamline of like communicating with everybody as if they're the only customer you have.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like people, I always stress the reps like answer those emails fast. I'm like, you'll
Amen.
awesome. Like I had a guy the other day, like, you don't have to, it's 9 o'clock at night, Jimmy. I didn't expect you to answer this. I'm like, well, that's who I'm gonna answer it.
Yeah, you didn't expect me to take my shoes off either, huh?
Oh, it's so funny. Those little things add up. They really
Oh,
do.
so
And
much. Yeah.
I saw this thing on Instagram I shared with Ryan, like some sales reps, they can sell on, emotions, and you can sell with feeling. And like, it's not always a sales process. Like I get people to trust me. Um, I get people, they believe in me and they believe in Mary Grove. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's where I would jump into, the history of the company too, and my history with the company. And then, about our installers,
And that's what produces 5 stars. Like both of those styles may get, a 50% closing ratio, but only one of them is going to get a 50% closing ratio with a 5 star review, you know?
yeah.
Okay, so what is your transition language? Well, first off, like after step two, is your goal to get in the house or do you not care?
No, I want to be in the house. I like sitting at the table. Me and you, we both sweat. So if it's a hot day, I don't
Yeah.
mind,
Yeah.
sweating a little bit out there. But
Yeah.
these black polos and everything, I'm ready
Yeah.
to go
Yeah.
inside, and they can see the iPad so much better inside too.
So much better. Yeah. Okay, so what's your transition language from 2 to 3?
So then I'll just be like, so we got the size figured out. Would you like to go inside and, figure everything else out and go over the rest of the details? And usually it's a yes. And then I'm like, well, I'll be right in. And that's when I sneak out, take my picture. So
Nice.
by the time I'm walking in, I'm already having their visualizer done. I
Okay.
know it's crazy. I go pretty quick with the visualizer though, because it's a wow factor for some people.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
yeah.
you are talking about fabric probably way sooner than I'm 15, 20 minutes into step 3 before I talk about fabric at all. You could even bring it up in step 2.
I could. Sometimes like if I know it's like a no-brainer, like you're at this, slate blue house, I'm gonna put cafe gray against it and just be like,
Yeah.
keep this in mind, and then I know I like to show them something that they, if I get a reaction like, oh yeah, I like that, then I know what pictures I'm gonna hammer on, and
Oh, nice.
where I'm gonna go in that. Instead of me just going through the album, I'm gonna show them what I pick out. I know what pictures I'm gonna show them by their house,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
but yeah, no, I like to, I do a little bit of that outside because, sometimes it is better to see the fabric in natural, light, but
Well, I like that little tease. Like, hey, keep this in mind. Just keep
yeah,
this. I
yeah.
like
And
that.
then when I have my visualizer all done, they're like, okay, I like
Yeah.
it. So,
Cool. Okay,
yeah,
so you're in the house. You're
yep,
you're straight up saying like, do you want to go inside and sit?
yep, yeah.
Cool.
I'll ask them, and yeah, and I mean, usually it's yeah, no, yep,
All
we're
right,
going.
let's talk about kitchen table. Where do you want to be? Where do you want them to be?
I don't want to be in the middle of them because then you have to pivot the whole time.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
when me sit at the end of the table. I'm like, no, let me sit here, and I'll tell you why. If I sit in the middle, I'm gonna be showing you one thing, and then you're gonna feel left out because you're not seeing it. So I'm like, let me sit across from you.
Jimmy, this is no joke. This is probably the most aggressive I get in the house is that I tell them, no, you're sitting there and you're sitting there and I'm sitting here.
Yeah, no, for real. I'm like, I'm not sitting in the middle because it gets to a rep. It's a little bit annoying because you're like, well, let me see it, and you're just like you're going back and forth. I'm like, so I take control of that situation. You
Yeah,
got to take control of the sales call a little bit. Still be friendly, but hey, I'm
for
gonna sit.
sure.
You guys sit there. I don't care if they're to the left or right of me, or I want them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in front of them.
Um, so now we're at the oh, this is going to be a good one for you because your history is so deep with Marygrove. You're at the kitchen table. Um, Ryan and I talked about, hey, while we're setting up and getting the brochure out and setting the iPad
Yeah.
up, that's a really great opportunity to kind of small talk about who Marygrove is. Is that
Yeah.
where you put that into?
Absolutely. I'll ask them like, hey, have you ever seen our awnings before? Or have you ever been under one of our awnings before? And then that's what I'll get, oh yeah, I grew up with the window awnings, or oh, I was at the Elks Club in Fenton and I was underneath it. And I'm like, well, perfect. You've seen our product then. And so then I'll give them a little background on Marygrove, and then let them know, who we are and then how long I've been there, and get a little more confidence from them.
Yeah, in Michigan, do you this is not really an issue in the Outer Rim, but in Michigan, do you talk about how we stopped doing like restaurant awnings?
No, not too much. People ask about it, but I just tell them it wasn't a huge part of our business if they ask if we still do it. I
Oh,
go, we'll
nice.
do
Okay.
retractable awnings for restaurants, but we're not doing the big welded frames. But people know us by those though. I mean, go like
Yeah.
when we take people downtown, it's the Marygrove tour.
Yeah, it's the Dale tour.
Right. We did
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of golf courses. I got Tanglewood over there, and
Yeah.
I call it Money Row because I got it's no lie. I got like 12 awnings on one hole. It's pretty sweet.
Nice. Um, okay, so you've done the history of Marygrove. Now you're getting the brochures out, and this is the Vince question.
Yeah.
So, how many brochures? Who has them? What do you do?
So I'm gonna have one brochure out for the couple, and I have it out. I have it in front of them, and I'm gonna go through it page by page with them.
Okay, so you're in control of the page flipping.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate when they go ahead of me. If they start going ahead of it, I'll be like, well, can you go back to page one real quick? Because I'm going to show you step by step what we're going to do. And then that's me taking control again,
Yeah.
being, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, and they'll let me do it from there.
Yeah.
But
So,
one thing is,
yeah.
you always be careful because these iPads have metal holders on them. So it's like sometimes you got to use it as a placemat too because you don't want to scratch their table, like
Oh, that's a
twisting your
good point.
iPad all around on it. So I take everything in consideration, and they even appreciate that. Or if there's a table mat on their table, like, do you mind if I use that? I want to scratch your table. Just I give them, I let
Oh,
them know I'm considerate.
nice.
Just like I, my wife would kill me if I scratched our table, so I'm not gonna do that to you, type deal.
Jimmy,
So
that's good. I like that.
yeah, but
Um,
yeah, I love the brochure. I love the layout of it. So I do go. It's pretty structured for me. I go through it.
Yeah, that was yeah, I mean we talked about this, but that was probably the most wild part of the Ryan interview. It was like you do what with the brochure? Like what are you talking about? It's perfectly designed.
Yeah. But it's
Um
funny. I bet if you talk to every one of us, I bet everyone has a little bit of a different way.
yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Ryan gets
Okay.
good results.
So, yeah, yeah. Okay, so first page of the brochure that
Yep.
like has any substance on it is the size. So what's your language on that page with the sizes?
I'll just be like, the 16 by 12 is your best fit here. And, this is the reason why. And I'm like, and pretty much like, do you agree? And I get there, agreeing. And then I'll like X that, like, all right, I'll have my pen out and I'll be like, all right, 16 by 12 circle or put the X in the box.
Okay.
And, then I go to, the frame colors. Then I'll jump into that. Um, at that point, sometimes the frame color is tough to choose because I do get customers that'll choose the frame color based on the fabric color.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I sometimes it's a no-brainer. Like I was at a house yesterday. Your house is all white, white frame for sure. They
Yeah.
want Arbor gray. It just looked good. I knew the combination they wanted, but sometimes I let them know, like, all right, if it was my home, I'd be between the white and bronze frame, and then they'll be like, "Well, I want the white frame." And I'm like, "All right, perfect." So they're confirming with me what their thoughts are.
Yeah. See, I was such a huge pusher of you want this frame color to go with your house
Yeah,
that like and I say when I'm doing my training sessions, like one of the reasons I really liked not showing any frame colors during step two when we were outside is to see if they get up and like hold it to the house or
yeah,
hold it to the gutter. Because man, that tells me so much whether or not they're engaged or truly
yeah.
interested. Um,
Yeah, I'll be like, "Do you want to go back outside and hold anything up?" I'll just hold.
yeah.
Time we'll get up, we'll go back out. But yeah, sometimes, but then again, I'm going to the pictures that looks like they're home, or I have the visualizer going already.
Yeah. I remember when we were allowed to have any polo that we wanted, like any
Yeah,
polo color we wanted. And I had one of my favorite polos was this like baby blue, tealy blue.
yeah.
And I have no shit, like more than one customer would tell me like, could you hold the fabric really far away from your shirt so we can actually like pay attention?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're holding up the fabric. Okay, so the size, so one of the things that I feel like I always have to do, which probably isn't true, but when I'm on the size page, I feel like I have to kind of justify why there's these six sizes showing. So
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to use that as my opportunity to remind them that we do an inventory system.
Right. Yep. Yep. That's like where I would be like, we stock these sizes because they're the most common sizes. And then sometimes I'll give, if it's a wood deck, I'll give that analogy that I did with you where it's, these are the reasons that we stock these sizes.
Okay.
I used to do it on the seams, but I stay away from that now. But, I used to be like,
The
these sizes,
equal panels. Yeah.
type deal.
Yeah.
But that was old school language. I
That was
got,
old school. Yeah.
yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so they've picked a size, they've picked a frame color. Now,
Yeah.
how are you transitioning to the essential bundle? And have you, because you have,
Yeah.
this is everybody's first year with this the essential bundle, but man, are you like a such a veteran where you're like, nah, I'm not really calling it the essential bundle in the house, or are
Uh,
you?
no, I'm gonna tell them like, listen, sometimes I tell them everything I'm gonna tell you about, besides the tech and comfort bundle, is the way a Mary Grove awning comes. You can add some fun things to it if you choose to, but the adjustable pitch, the protective housing, the remote control, everything, because you start making them worry a little bit when you are hitting them with all these highlights, like, oh man, that's gonna cost a lot, and I'm like, well, no, I'm not
Oh,
on. This is how it's essentially how the awning comes. It's our essentials bundle. So, but this picture, in here with him doing the adjustable pitch is when I bring out that tool, that visualizer. I don't know what we call it. Sorry. Um,
Yeah, I think it's called like Marygrove Studio, but
Yeah.
yeah, the animated 3D
And then that's what I'll be like, because they'll get confused by that picture and they'll think I'm selling them a motor or a
a
manual on.
manual awning. Yeah.
The remote's not first, so then I gotta, show them there are manual features on this awning and let me show you what they do. And then that's when I'll pull out, this program and show them everything on there.
Okay, so you use the animated app to show the awning pitch. You show like the entire awning drop, and then you show the pitch on it.
Yep. And then let's say I got the pitch all done and described. I go to the next page, and the next page shows, the housing, the cassette. So
Yeah.
then what I'll even click the housing button and I'll hit the close button. I'll show them the fabrics rolling up into that housing.
See, I think that's the strongest part of that 3D animated. That housing animation is because it makes sense where I can't remember what rep says it, but one rep says, it's a garage for your fabric, it
Yeah.
protects it. And
Yeah.
that like that's true and that's a good description, but I don't know, man, it's always felt a little clunky to me to try to describe that integrated cover. That
Yeah.
same thing with the adjustable pitch. Like these are such abstract ideas that those animations help a ton.
Yeah. And then, I'll get people to hop back on the adjustable pitch. Oh, I'm never going to adjust it. I'm like, well, you say that, but I'm like, 10 years ago when we didn't offer this, we were doing 50% more service calls to level out awnings. Now you can level it out yourself.
This is that Marygrove knowledge, that history knowledge.
I'll be like, hey, I used to do it. And they used to get all mad that you're charging them money to level out the awning, because you're 10 minutes, but it's a service call. But
Yeah,
that's,
that leans in so well to like what Ryan said. We're like, hey, we spent the last 30 years perfecting this,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And I tell people I can't think of anything else we can do this awning at this point. I'm like, I've seen them all change. I'm like, I get some customers that'll ask for a mister on them and stuff like that. We're not doing anything like that. We're not at Cedar Point, but
Yeah. Yeah. That is
so
probably the number one thing, huh? The misters.
yes, I'm Houston maybe, but yeah, not
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'll hit. I'll show them how so when the awning closes in this tool, it shows the valance, and I do let them know, what we recommend, because they'll be like, well, what's the maintenance on this, or I'll bring up like, it's very easy. I'm like, you can adjust your pitch down, and I show them adjusting down. Then you spray it with a hose, soft brush if you need to. And also, you can make this valance last longer if you remove it. And they're like, well, how do I do that? So then I'm like, well, you put your awning out, and then I hit the pitch button, and I'm like, you lower it to you, and it's like a light bulb goes off. They're like, I can do that. I'm like,
Oh, nice.
do that. Yes, yeah. And even in this thing, it shows the Phillip head screw and everything. So I show them like, you just slide it out in a channel, separate
Yeah.
the body of the fabric. So I use
Right.
this tool a lot, though. Like I said, I like using every tool that's provided for us because people understand it better than me with my arms and trying to lower and raise it.
Well, and it elevates the experience, right? Like if you're going to have a $7,000 product, right, you need an elevated sales experience with tools that make it feel like an elevated experience.
Yeah. Because
So
I'm telling you, Sunsetter, Golden Needle is not going to go in there and do the presentation on
no,
it.
they've got a legal notepad and their chicken scratch and shit on there.
Exactly. Yeah, people are just amazed how quick we can create estimates too. And, once we get it all down to where they're figuring out, like, they're pretty amazed that, how quick we can do it and how efficient we are. So,
Yeah. Okay,
uh,
so we've done the essential bundle, and
yep.
your language on the essential bundle is like this is how we build a Mary Grove.
Yep.
Okay.
So
And then
we do it the right way. And then I'll jump into, the remote picture and I even go over the remotes, show them all that. And I'll be like, and also if you decide to, get the lights, you control it all with your phone. Because then I don't really say the lights are part of a Mary Grove awning until I get to the bundle because I don't want to diminish the bundle at all.
gotcha.
I don't
Yeah.
like, well, I don't get the lights in if I don't get the bundle. I don't want to confuse them there. So
Yeah.
then I use the lights as like, well, you don't have to do this, but you know what I'll do? I'm going to throw in those lights, for you, or some reps will charge for them. That's fine. But, usually what I do is act like, they're getting a bonus from me.
Yeah, the good guy move for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did the essential bundle. Now you're going into fabric selection.
Yep, yep. So that's where the visualizer comes in handy for me. And
Yeah.
I telling you the other day, like I pick out a lot of people's fabrics for them. I know it's a bold move sometimes,
It's
but
the right move, man. You have to. You
you
have
know,
to.
I let them know. I'm like, I've seen a lot of awnings. I'm like, when I walk up to your home, I'm already thinking what color it should be. And they're like, okay, well, what do you think? And then I'll show them. They're like, you're right. But like, and I'll tell them, why I think it's the right move versus, and I let them know too. Like I do a lot of neutral colors too. I do get people to match things, the red, greens, and blues, but they're a little more committed to a color at that point. So, you
Yeah.
know, and then I show them, I wear brown shoes with my black shirt. So if they'd go with the black fabric, I'm like, see, I'm like, you would never notice. I'm like, it works. Brown and black can go together.
Oh, my wife loves brown and black together.
Yeah,
Loves it. Yeah.
it works. It works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the
Um,
fabric, and then when it comes to Sunbrella, um, I don't carry the book in with me. It's in my truck. I
Good for
don't,
you.
I mean, it's very rare I'd bring it in unless, so what I do is I'm like, listen, because competitors used to badmouth us and say they only have 10 choices. When I get to the fabric page, I let them know this is our inventory. This is what we stock are these 10 choices. We can offer you a better deal on these because we have them in quantity, we have them in bulk. If you go and you want a per job basis color, we can do that, but there's an upcharge for that. And guess what? It's not a better fabric. I don't talk it down, but I let them know it's the same exact written warranty. So I'm not going to sell it to you as an upgrade. I'm going to sell it to you only based on if you want a different color than what you see here.
Yeah.
That's the
Gotcha.
only reason I go into Sunbrella. If they don't, and usually they don't want to go to it. It's funny, or they'll flip to the book quick and say, "Nope, you're right, Jimmy. I'm going to go with this one." So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah,
Okay, so you pick a fabric form, which is 100% the right move. I mean, you need to do that. Whether
yeah,
they agree with you or not, it's such a low risk like move. And if like they want to know that they are being taken care of by an expert and like decisions that they're making are the right decisions. And the biggest decision is the fabric. And so
yeah,
you guiding them through that is absolutely essential. You have to do that.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that a lot.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm looking at all the pictures I've done in the last couple of days, but it's funny. Like I love like I wish you could see it in here. Like, but I literally will show them like different frame colors. Like I do it pretty quick, so they're not like, I'm not boring them by doing it.
Yeah.
But I'll show them a couple. I'll show them what I recommend first, or if they're dead set, no, Jimmy, I like this one. So then I'll go into my photo album too and show them real pictures. So I'll give them an example on their home, but also then I'll go back to my photos and say, just want to give you a realistic, a real picture of it so you can actually see from underneath it. I'll show them, and from a distance, I'll show them the picture too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what about so now that they've made every single selection, like are you pushing inventory again right now, or are you going right into the tech and comfort? Like what's the transition into the tech and comfort look like to you?
Yeah. So once we get all the good stuff figured out, I'll be like, okay, now this is where we can have a little bit of fun. And you face west, I want to show you. And then this is where I will go out of order in the photos a little bit because, or if they go to right to the wind sensor, I usually go back to the app. So if
Yeah.
they're hot buttons, the wind sensor, or if they're hot buttons, the front screen, I'll let them know, listen, I can a la carte this for you. You can get just the wind sensor, no problem for $400. Or what I can do is I can give you this bundle that my manager put together, and we can actually do every accessory for you for $600. So if you're going to get one, it's a no-brainer to spend the extra 200 and get everything. And usually they're in agreement there. They're like, "Yep, you're right." So then that's when I really will go back and through the brochure and highlight, why the app would be important to them. You're gonna you're on your boat and you're like, oh, we left the awning out. Hop on your phone, bring that bad boy back in. You can do it all right here. It's just like I just I make it so it makes sense to them. And
Yeah.
then, the wind sensor, it's a nice safety feature. Um, you don't have to have the wind sensor, but I like it as a sense of security. You take the dog for a walk if they have dogs everywhere and a bad storm comes up, you're not having to run home. I try to connect with them somewhere, if it's a boat, if it's a dog, them
Yeah.
going to the store. I try to, this is a reason why you would get this and you can add it for X. And then especially if like condos or east or west,
Yeah.
I'm hitting that privacy or the front screen. I'm gonna let them know that the importance of that, and I love showing them the picture looking out, and then showing them the privacy they get looking in.
That is in my opinion, that is the strongest pair of pictures in that entire brochure this year.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
good. Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, just the other day, it was yesterday, I sold one, and the house was getting built right behind them. They're like, "We're gonna have no privacy." The house,
Yeah.
here we go. I'm like, "Yep, this is what you need." So then I show them this, and they didn't even know about it. They're like, "That's great. Yeah, we want that." I'm like,
Yeah. Nice. So
even though you take
they,
it out, it was still a benefit to them to get for privacy.
oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they, I don't know if you know this, but or the front screen is like the number one performing photo from 2024 on advertising online
yeah,
was a front screen.
I believe it.
You know,
Yeah,
awning with the front screen down.
yeah. I mean, because people don't, well, this won't work. People in their heads, like you hear it at home shows, this won't work because, I face west, sun's going to come right underneath it. It's like, whoa, whoa, come back here. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Uh,
And how about at the home show when you like slowly roll the front screen down just to get people to stop?
oh, yeah. Yeah, I tell when reps call me and say they're having a slow day, I'm like, well, move that awning in and out. They might not
Well,
know what it is,
that's right. That's right.
Don't the thermal, but move it in and out, let them catch up,
Yeah.
you know.
Remember my like well no, it couldn't have been my first, but I think it was the first home show with the LED lights and like 5 minutes into it I ripped the LED lights
Oh, with
with,
the crank.
with the crank.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
ripped
yeah.
them right off. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that I picked up on that was they have the price of the Tech and Comfort bundle before you talk about the items. Is that,
Yeah.
did I get that right? Yes.
Yeah, because I'll let them know, listen, you can add one sensor, you can add one of these accessories for 400, or I can get you the bundle for 600. So let me work up your quote. I'm going to give you, the best deal I can, and I'm going to include this bundle in there because it's going to benefit you in this way. And right now we're doing half off on it. So let me create this estimate. And I'm like, and if you don't want it, we can back it off. But let me just create the estimate for you. And then usually I create it with everything right in there.
Yeah.
And then I'll turn to them, and that it's what they were thinking, or it's a little bit more, but I see the benefits in it, one of those options at that point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what's the hmm, what's the I'm trying to think of how to ask this. What's the what's your pressure point? Like what
Urgency,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how I create urgency.
Yeah.
So I'll let them know, like right now, if I were to sell one in April, like if I go when I go out tomorrow, I'm gonna let them know this is we're still at preseason pricing. Don't tell my January customers. You're still getting the January pricing, but when that sun starts shining, it's supply and demand. Prices are gonna go up a little bit. So why you would lock this in today is for the lowest price of the season, and you're gonna get the best deal. And also, you should lock in an install date because it's anyone you talk to at Marigold, it's a light switch. It turns on, and it goes fast. So you want to secure a date in here, lock this in with $100, and we'll get you scheduled.
Yeah.
And that my button is quick turnaround, and the lowest price they're going to get the rest of the season is today.
So but how do you do that in June?
Well, in June, it's just like it's on. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. Let's go. Like
You want
usually
it.
me and you are out there sweating, and we're like, okay, we understand why you want it. And they're like, how fast can you do it sometimes? So, but I guess that is a good question because, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm creating, yeah, June would be the toughest one to create. Usually the weather is creating urgency for me.
Yeah, like you have, yeah, natural urgency built right into the time of the year.
Almost, I tell people we're 2 weeks out, always 2 to 3 weeks out. So
Yeah.
then when I do get their deposit and I could do it tomorrow, I'm like, oh, good news. I already got I got the commitment. So yeah, I let them know like you want to beat the rush. In June too, we might pull a page out of Foley's book and do a Father's Day deal or
Yeah, right, right.
right now. But no, that is a good question because my whole thing is what I tell reps. I'm like, you got to create urgency without coming off too strong. Like
Yeah.
you got to, really. I mean, I'm really honest with a lot of people. I let them like, this is going to be the best deal of the season, and if you want it, get it now, so you're not waiting weeks for it. And then when I say we're 2 weeks out, people are usually, pretty surprised. They're thinking 6 to 8 weeks because if you go on Costco right now, it even says on there 6 to 8 weeks delivery.
That's the power of the inventory, baby.
Yeah, and that's where like I do use inventory, like I said, I use stock too. But the power of having these awnings and houses, we're gonna do quick turnaround, so you're gonna enjoy it. You know,
Yeah.
I remember when we were 16 to 18 weeks out.
Wild that we sold anything, man.
Um,
Wild that we sold anything.
and people would and it was nuts, and it was one of my better years.
I know. I know. I know. Yeah, it was wild. Man, we have gone through some shit, huh? Like
Yeah,
we have had some wild years of like
yeah,
just some crazy stuff.
yeah.
Uh
I mean,
man.
nothing, no surprises. I mean, we get surprises, of course. We talk a lot, but it's
Yeah, but you lived through that pandemic as an awning sales rep. You have seen everything.
yeah, yeah. That was wild. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
wild.
that was
We did it
wild.
though. We created an outdoor living space that they could work under.
Yeah, that's you're spot on.
You're stuck at home, so why don't you be in the shade and do your Zooms from there?
Yeah, right. Gotcha. I mean, just so you can see the screen.
Yeah. And if you're out there at night, turn those lights on.
Yeah. Um, Tech and Comfort Bundle,
Yep.
if you had to remove one of the features, which one would you take out?
I see like the lights. I was programmed last year that the lights are how a Mary Grove awning comes. Like to me, it's
Oh yeah.
almost like a part of our essentials.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
thing that catches me a little bit.
Yeah. So the reason, and look, I mean, you were part of the conversations. We debated that back and forth so many times.
Yeah.
I think the reason that we put it in the Tech and Comfort is because it feels like the housing, the pitch, the motor with remote, those don't feel like add-ons anymore, and the lights still do.
Yeah.
In like in the customer's brain, they think, oh yeah, if you're getting lights, that's like an upgrade,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I would
um,
say that's what would be my thing is it's because I was so programmed like to be
yeah,
a part of our awning. Like it's not an afterthought, I'm just like so sometimes, but then if I do that, then I feel like my value is not as high on the tech and comfort bundle.
yeah, right.
It's a
That's
fun,
what That's what I'm saying. You are a creature of routine, and it works so well for
yeah.
you. Like, yeah, you program yourself to be the lights are part
Um,
of a merry-go. That's so
but
funny.
and I was just telling Ryan this too, and Jay, I was just like, I have took them out of my language so I can push the tech and comfort
Yeah,
bundle better.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, but the reason I made it part of it, the essential bundles last year, is because you get people that don't think they want them, and they think
yes,
they're paying more for them. But
yeah.
I mean, if I could see all these people that said they didn't want them, I can guarantee you they use them.
I love my LED lights.
Yeah.
Love them. Yeah,
Even then I get, elderly customers that'll be like, I don't need these. And I see their little dog with their dog leash. I'm like, when you let the dog out at night, put those lights on. I'm like, you don't want to see what's out there? You don't
yeah.
have to always be sitting under it to use this.
Uh, okay, so now we've gotten to the point where there's another Vince question.
Yeah. I do not show them the screen. I don't show them the screen. I create that order before. and then I turn it around and I go through the rundown with them.
Okay, so you build the order without them seeing the screen.
Yep.
Then when it's all built, you're turning the iPad, showing them basically walking through the order as it was built.
Yep, I'll go line by line, but like I don't really highlight we're charging you $400 for install. I'm like, this is a 16 by 12 bronze frame cafe beige, just like we picked out. This awning is going to be installed. And look at you get the essential bundles because that's the way a Marygrove awning comes. You get the remote, the cassette, and the adjustable pitch. And then you decided that, the wind sensor, you found value in that and the front screen. And that's why we got the Tech and Comfort bundle. And guess what? Right now, because you're pre-season and we're still in April, I can do half off on that. Then I hit the button, give them half off on that. And
Oh,
then,
you're flipping it before you do the half off.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like
So then I
that.
show, because I like to show them like you're getting something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, this is the deal, and then I show them, and then it's kind of like now to reserve this or to get us an install date, all I need is $100 refundable deposit. And then if they hem and haul, like, well, hey, we do have 12 months no interest. And then I go for 3 times asking for it. After that I kind of back off a little bit because I don't want them to hate me and never call me,
Yeah.
but I have to do it at least 3 times in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So your first ask, I mean, it sounds like it's just like you roll right into the first ask.
I'm assuming it. I'm like, next up is all we got to do is lock it in with $100.
Yeah.
And then I do the standoff with some people sometimes where we're not saying a word.
Yeah.
Like we were both silent for like 30 seconds. I'm just like, what's he gonna say in my head? Just like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna do this, and it's the best when they lean over and they pull that wallet out of their back pocket and they throw the card down.
So what is the second ask look like if they're like, yeah, this is just a little more than we expected.
Yeah, so I'll be like, well, we could back off the Tech and Comfort, but I really think you'd benefit from that. Then I'll hit them with the financing again, and then I'll be like, listen, we have this in inventory. We can reserve this for you, let you think about it, but I don't even really have to go that. Usually, by that point, I know if they're gonna do it or not. But I'll ask them. It's kind of tough, really. I mean, that's a tough one because,
Yeah.
but usually I'm not going to just, pick up my bag and walk out by any means. I'm going to just, go over the benefits of it one more time and then just let them know we can reserve this $100. It's refundable.
Yeah.
And all we got to do is just sleep on it. If it's not what you want to do, call me tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll all day. But I mean, my luck, and I have good luck with it. I mean, me, I have 3 cancellations.
Lowest cancellation rate in the company. Yeah.
So usually when I get them to commit, they're in for it.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah, how do you know when how do you know when you have to give them more money off? Like what is it when they're really blunt or
oh, that'll be my third try. So I'll be
okay.
like, listen, we ran this last month. It's gone, but if you put down the $100 deposit today, I'll give you half off your install, or it was free install. So I'll be like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like a today only deal without saying it.
Yes.
And if I leave the house, I tell J-Ro doesn't believe I do this. If they don't give me the deposit, that install fee stays as is. Like this is how it is, so I'll be like, I can remove this for you today if you reserve with $100. And then usually it's, yeah, let's go, so
Yeah, love it.
and I put deadlines on things too. I like creating urgency that way. Like this deal, like, our finance options might change. So I can honor this until the end of the month, but I can't guarantee that we're going to have the same,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
month. So if you got to let me know, like, within a week or so, if you want to lock this in, and it's, and especially if it's towards the end of the month, like I love like, last couple of days of the month, because usually I'll get a couple.
For sure. Yeah.
I know the callbacks are very rare, but it's one of those. I put on the best presentation I can. I make people feel comfortable, and I let them know they're getting the best awning with a good company that's going to stand behind it. I show them, we have an A plus in the Better Business Bureau. We have a 5-star rating.
Yeah, you used to have that clipboard with the stickers on the back of it.
I just got rid of it, but I still keep my clipboard. I still have it. I print my leads off every day.
You do still?
Yeah, I do. I
Oh
swear to
man,
God.
that's so
Yeah.
cute.
No, well, it's my follow up. Like that's where I'm like, you know what?
This is what I'm talking about, man. You like you are a master of routine. That's what makes, I mean, that's one of your superpowers.
Yeah. If I got them like, because if I have someone that's like needs HOA approval, I have a stack that's like, all right, I need to follow up with them in a week.
Oh my God.
I swear to you, I don't like emails.
Such an
I
old
know we get a
man.
lot of them, so I try to tell all the sales reps, I'm like, do whatever you can not to get emails, guys. I'm like,
Yeah.
I go, I sell more than you, and I get an eighth of the emails you get. So I'm
Yeah.
like, there's like just I try to do my job to the fullest. I don't leave that parking like I don't drive off unless that picture is attached because I
Yeah.
hate getting that the automatic button yeah
Yeah, the automatic please
uh,
attach a photo.
or if I don't schedule it, there's a note on there why I didn't schedule it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I try to save emails.
Yeah.
We're an email company, but
Yeah. Yeah. We are an email company. Rachel is an email company.
yeah. I bet you I'm one of the reps that gets the least amount of emails for my
Oh,
jobs.
I'd put all my money on it. No question.
And that's why I try to tell, some reps to just like do whatever you can to avoid getting those emails. Like make everyone's job as easy as possible. Like there's make it so there's no question. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And the customer likes that too, where they're not, I let them know everything's done. The picture's attached. We're good to go.
Yeah. Hands down.
Yeah. So,
Um, hardest objection.
mm, the wife not home, or the worst appointment we talked is like when the husband won't even engage, like won't even look at fabrics. Like,
Hate that. Yeah.
he's almost mad you're there. He doesn't want this, but it's one of those, that's where I'll try to find a common with that guy. Like, I'll just be like, if he has kids, we're talking about that, or, I try to get him to like me so he's not like thinking I'm that greasy salesman,
Yeah, right.
but I'm going to ask him for his money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
it's just
yeah, one-leggers I mean, that's essentially a one-legger with the husband there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
they're so tough.
yeah, but that's where I'm going to put my best presentation on I can. I will even try harder with them because I want them to really feel like this is the right thing, and I want them to be excited to talk about it with their spouse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Jimmy here today, he educated me on why this would be good, and this is, I think it would work. I know it would work. They'll talk about it, and hopefully, I can get them on that.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good attitude. what is your kind of go-to if you are sitting in front of a true one-legger? Like what's that close look like to you?
It's more of like a reserve. I'll be
Yeah.
like, if you want to just reserve this until you guys talk about it,
Yeah.
um, I understand. Or I do keep extra fabric samples with me. I'll sometimes say, I have like an extra umbrella book too. I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones where I'll leave it behind if they're like, well, I can't pick it. Well, place $100 deposit and I'll leave everything with you.
Oh, nice. That's really good
Or I'll
language.
send, or like I have, or like HOA approvals. Like, well, I need HOA approval first. Well, if you give me the $100 deposit, or if you place, not give me, if you place your $100 deposit, I'll get you everything you need. I'll get you your drawing and I'll get it to you today, and I'll get you.
Nice. I like
So
that a lot.
yeah, so like I'll do the work for you. I just need a little bit of a commitment from you.
I need a good faith commitment.
Yeah. And if
Yeah, I
you don't
like
get
that.
approved, which we're going to get them approved, but if you don't, then you'll get your money back. But
Yeah.
I'll get you everything you need. I'll get you our insurance certificate, our, you know, rendering. I even save the sales agreement in the portal as a PDF and I send it to them that way.
Jesus Christ.
I make it as easy as possible for them to print
Oh
it off.
my
I'll
God.
even ask them if they want me to print it for them. They'll connect me to their Wi-Fi.
Oh my God, Jimmy.
I make it as easy as possible, so it's a no-brainer.
That's so good. That's so good.
I used to
Um,
carry a printer with me.
no, you did not.
I had a portable printer. Swear to God. I, when they wanted that paper contract when we went over to the app, it was a
I
little,
got you. I
little
got
happy,
you.
but yeah. I try to be their guy as the best I can. I'm their friend. I'm their awning salesman, and I'm going to make sure they get the right product every time.
Yeah, you know what's wild? I have never worked in sales at Marygrove with paper contracts.
It's
Ne Never.
that's wild. And when you talk to Vince, it's even wilder that I was one of the ones that was resistant to it because I'm a creature of habit. I liked writing. I liked leaving him that piece of paper.
Yeah.
But it made like my income pretty much doubled by using it.
Oh, no question about it. I
It
mean,
was because it was like instead of me pulling the number off my head or pulling our, it was tough back in the day because we used to list the prices in the brochure.
oh,
So they wanted that price they saw. They didn't want to pay $400 more and tax on that number.
yeah, right,
So
right,
when
right.
we went to the app, it was a game changer because, it was real. Like this is it, you know.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah,
know,
I have never written a paper. Well, I guess I did it for production every now and again, but man,
you want to hate me? I still have 5 paper contracts in my bag.
at all times.
I have them. Yeah. Yeah. If I really get someone that needs, an estimate right there, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
I'll write it out. I'll write it out.
Yeah. My handwriting is like me and Vince have the same handwriting.
Oh my God, chicken scratch.
Oh yeah, we'll admit it. It's brutal.
Okay, we're gonna do three quick fires.
Yep. Sorry, my lights turned off down. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I've been looking at the interview notes, so
Oh, well,
sorry I haven't been looking at you,
yeah.
Jimmy.
Well, I don't know.
All right, so three quick fires.
Yep. Well,
Number one,
yep.
a piece of language that you feel like is yours, that you're proud of, or that you know other people are using, or that you'll never drop.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I like telling them, we've already said it, that we do it one way. We do it the right way. And there's no, this is the way the awning's going to come. And we're not going to, it's going to be, we got one way we're going to do it. And we're going to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. And this is why you need these features.
Every
So
customer is hearing that.
everyone.
Yeah. All right. A piece of language that you are glad you took from someone else.
Jeff Foley taught me a lot at home shows. Vince did.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I used from somebody else. Jeez, now you got me thinking.
You don't have to have I don't think Ryan had an answer for this one. You don't have to
Yeah,
have an answer for
no, I mean, no, you got me. You stumped me. I'm gonna have to
it.
text you later.
All right, all right. I'll do an update
Yeah,
for everybody. Okay, number one piece of advice to a brand new rep at Mary Gravoni.
treat people how you want to be treated. I mean it's the golden rule. I treat people. I don't want to come off as that salesman. I like to surprise them that I am not the average salesman that's walking the door. I like being the expert, and I like that I'm going to put pressure on, but I'm not going to be aggressive about it. And
Yeah,
and it works well for me. Now I know
yeah,
it's for everyone, but to me it's the golden rule. I'm gonna, and people will tell me at the end of it, I really like the way you presented this. And I'm like, listen, I treat people how I want to be treated. I'm like, I want to show you, I want to get you the right product, and I know this is the right product, and this is why. Again, and I'll go through it again, but I think that's the biggest thing that I would say that was one of, my strong suit is that I would say I can make people feel comfortable because they know I'm treating them like a person, not just a
yeah,
number. And, it's, we turn and burn, of course. I can run 11 appointments in a day if I, but
yeah,
I try to make every customer feel like they're my only one.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, cool. I am now just seeing you, and yeah, it's really dark in that room. All
I
of a
don't know.
sudden.
I'm on, it's so funny because it's a motion detector light, and I cannot figure out how to turn it back on.
Oh,
There we go.
there you
I
go.
put the lamp on.
Yeah.
My overhead lights on a motion. You should have seen me. If you could have seen me in the dark, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, why isn't it
It
turning
was like
on?
angels in the outfield.
Yeah. Speaking of that movie, do you know how many main actors are in that movie? The
You
Angels in the
got
Outfield?
you got Tony Danza, Donald Glover, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Um,
McConaughey.
oh yeah, McConaughey is
He
in it.
doesn't say anything, but he's in there. It's crazy. I swear
Uh,
to God, I watched that movie like 10 days ago.
I love that movie. I love that movie too, where that kid breaks his arm and can
Oh,
pitch really
Funky
fast.
Alvin. Yeah.
The Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie
Yeah.
of the Year. There it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Yeah, that was really good too.
Was
Yeah.
that, God, what is that? Tommy John surgery before it was a big thing, you know?
Yeah, Tommy Jones surgery, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It reminds me of that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's a great one. Any Mighty Ducks, of course, is,
Oh, of course. Mighty Ducks is classic.
yeah. I think I played hockey because of that.
Because of Mighty Ducks?
Yeah. I just, yeah, I was
Nice.
dying. Oh,
Cool, man. I mean, you absolutely crushed that. I love how like, and I knew it was going to happen where like everybody I interview is going to fall into the four steps, but is going to have made it their own. And man, you just proved that times 10. That's so strong. And man, like, I mean, I wish I could bottle what the confidence of being there for 25 years like gives you, and like you
yeah.
just know every answer off the top of your fucking head.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so good.
I mean, to think about this, turning this job, me and Vince breaking tubes down, in the back to where I am now is
Yeah.
so grateful. I'm just like, I enjoy what I do. And people, they tell me, I can tell you enjoy what you do. You're always smiling. And I'm like, that's just who I am. Like, I got nothing to be mad about.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I really appreciate it. I know this was about an hour and a half, so I
oh,
appreciate you sitting
no,
down.
we're good. We're good. No, thank you. I was happy
Cool.
I told Ryan my feelings were getting hurt. I'm like, David's not asking me.
Oh, hell no, man. You were next on the list. And honestly, like no joke, I
Yeah.
was getting these text messages like, "Where's Jimmy's?
Yeah.
Where's Jimmy's?" I was like, "It's coming. It's coming." So, yeah, yeah. No, I'm really really grateful you did it.
Yeah. Well,
Who
yeah.
should be next?
Oof. I like Crutch.
I know I want to do Crutch so bad.
I
Yeah.
like Crutch.
Yeah.
Because are we still recording? Have
We
you
don't have to be. We don't have to be. All
well
right, that's it. And you'll never know what he was about to say. Goodbye.